Okay, now you can set this on from the top, but you've got to put the button in first. And you can see how this, where you rest the side of your foot, see how that slants towards. So the button's going to slant that way too, but the easy way is to remember the bigger opening, the bigger slot goes towards the cord, faces the cord, not the front, because it's going to sit there. So if we drop it in there, you can just push against it with your thumb or finger and kind of hold it in place. If you let it go, it's going to fall out. And then you're going to line up, you got your 4 rubber feet on, you're going to line up the cord on those little teeth, and you're going to drop it straight on. And you may have to manipulate the rubber feet corners in, and you may manipulate the cord. Like, see, I don't think I got that. That one's kind of an odd angle there. This one didn't get inside, so I'm going to have to pull that up a little and kind of manipulate it like that. Now that looks better. This one looks better. This is the funky one over here with the cord. Let's see if I can get that up and adjusted better. So I'm just going to squeeze it together here now, make sure that I'm good like that, and then I'm going to put the screws in. And you know, they just go straight in like that, right? Tighten up. I'll put the screws back in, and then we'll test this and see if we're going to have to open it up or you know, do anything else. I usually just put 2 screws in opposite corners until I'm sure I've got it adjusted. So let me get the screws in, and I'll plug the cord in, and we'll get it ready to test to see how we did. Okay, so I just put 2 screws in here. I put them kitty corner, and one of them I usually put by the cord to make sure it stays in place. But I've got it plugged in on the machine now, and I've got it plugged into the wall socket. So we're going to give it a whirl here and see if it's got any control now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's what we want. So look how slow we can go now if we want. We're doing some real fine work, or turning a corner. People who freestyle monogram. Let's see if we have full speed if we want it. We'll go up a little bit. Up a little bit more. A little bit more. Oh yeah. Okay, success with that. Good job. We can put the other 2 screws in there. I guess these carbon pile resistors is why, you know, in the old days they said don't leave an appliance plugged in, especially with something like this, because if some spring fails or something happens in there and you get a short. So when you're sewing with this, it can feel warm. It shouldn't really feel hot. And when it's plugged into the wall and you are not sewing, the foot pedal here and here should feel room temperature to you. You know, like the same as your machine or something. It shouldn't be, if it's warm or hot and you have not been sewing, that means that it's that shorting spring is bent and contacting, or you tighten that adjustment screw too far in. So if you find that's the case, that's a good way to test. You know, like I like this right now, but I'm going to leave it plugged in here and come back and check it in a few minutes, and 5 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, and make sure it's not hot. If it is, I'm going to have to back that screw out, loosen that lock nut, and turn the screw lefty-loosey and back it away a little bit. If it's not giving you the control that you want after you clean it and everything, oh, that's nice. You can take the cover off and loosen the lock nut up there and tighten it righty-tighty. Instead of a 1/16 of an inch, go a little bit more till you feel you can get good control. But then always test it that if it's plugged in and not sewing, that it doesn't start to get warm or hot. Now I've got, if you want to stay tuned here, I've got a couple tweaks that I do before I sell a machine on the cord and the foot pedal, but basically that's the completion of the restoration, how to do it. And again, on those carbon discs, they are so fragile, and I have seen and read blogs where people say that they use a pencil eraser and just gently clean those carbons. The only thing I will do is put, like you saw me, put a paper towel on a flat, hard surface, not on here, but just on a flat surface, and take those discs with my finger and rub them along the paper towel to kind of rub off the carbon, and flip it over. You can do the other side. It's a nice tedious process, But you saw in the carbons that Michael Lang from Software sent me, man, as soon as I just even tried to pick one up, it just snapped in half and crumpled. You don't want to use carbons like that. If you've got carbons like that, you need to find another foot pedal or one for parts and cannibalize the carbons out of it into yours if it's good, or just buy a new electronic. Most of them you can reuse the same cord, and they also come pre-wired with cords, but you can buy them on eBay and So Classic and Central Michigan Sewing, I think. But they're definitely there, and they run 20 to 40 bucks, and you can pick one up about 25 bucks with no cord and just transfer your cord to it. You might have to change the clip on the end, but it's doable. Yeah, very satisfactory, huh? Woo-hoo. Okay, so congratulations to us for doing that good job, and the cord that smells nice now. Now I'm going to unplug this from the electric, and I'll get set up here for these last couple of tweaks that I do. Okay, so I'll be back.